Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast, brought to you by our friends over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether that's auto, homeowners, flood boaters, or business insurance, there is nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit their website, briargreavesinsurance.com, or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That is 813-876-4166. It is a Wednesday edition of the Pewter Report podcast, a little bit different Wednesday show. It is still a Bucs Falcons preview and a Bucs preview, but the Bucs play tomorrow on Thursday instead of the typical Sunday. So going to the Advent Health Training Center today, not going to lie, felt a little bit like a Friday because it was like a Friday practice. But it's a Wednesday in terms of the week and another step closer to a Bucs game. So this is a must-win game alert for the Bucs, who will be in their Creamsicle jerseys on Thursday night taking on the Falcons. And there's no margin for error with this team. A lot of news to get to as well since the last time we saw all the great Pewter people that are joining us this afternoon. Yeah. We appreciate you rocking and rolling with us. So let's get to everything. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is my fellow colleague and face that runs the place at PewterReport.com, SR, Scott Reynolds. How we doing, Scott?
Good. I'm about ready to move you in, Matt, or move in with you, because we've been doing podcasts every day, right? From Sunday to Monday to yesterday with the JPP to another one today. We'll have you'll be on 3 tomorrow. I'll be on 2 tomorrow, from Pewter pregame to Pewter game day to our postgame podcast. Then we're doing a podcast on Friday just to go over what happened and hopefully a Buccaneer win. Good news is there's no rain in the forecast for tomorrow night.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, that kind of added some insult to injury on Sunday for the Buc fans that were in attendance there. So, yeah, big game. We'll see what this team's got. I have no idea what to expect, Matt. I really don't. I have no idea what to expect. I think I know what's going to happen, but I really don't want that to happen. But I have no idea what to expect with Kirk Cousins. And we kind of saw this. This is kind of like, the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not really like, heaven. It's like, it's the train coming down the track, like right at you. A couple of weeks ago when Michael Penix went on injured reserve, and that put Kirk Cousins into this game as a starting quarterback. And we know what happened last year, including that Creamsicle game. Oh, boy. 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. Completed, I think, an average about 74% of his passes for over 800 yards combined in those games, including 509 yards in that Thursday night debacle. So I don't know. Something's got to change, because here's the thing. The Falcons are going to be wearing their throwback jerseys in this game. Bucs will be wearing the Creamsicles, right? Let's just go through this. Falcons beat the Bucs on Thursday night. Advantage Atlanta. Falcons won in their throwback uniforms, which they're going to be wearing tomorrow night. Advantage Atlanta. Bucs wore the Creamsicles and lost last time. Advantage Atlanta. Kirk Cousins swept the Buccaneers last year. I don't know, man. I hope I'm wrong. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're here to preview it.
I'm hoping that the fact, and I get it, it's different with the Creamsicle jerseys, but versus the 1976 throwback, which still the Bucco Bruce helmet. So the helmet is the same. The uniform is a little bit different. But the fact that the Bucs wore a uniform that they did not win one singular football game in back in 1976, and then went 2-0.
That's true.
In those uniforms, including one at home and one on the road.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that, plus the fact that they got swept by Atlanta last year, but then defeated Atlanta in the first game of the season, maybe all of those things blend together and end up being
what you're doing, Matt Matera,
for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it is a good question of what is different with this Bucs defense going against Kirk Cousins this time around versus, the 500-yard game and him beating Tampa Bay twice last season? Because to be honest with you, there are some differences, but not that much either. Like, they're missing Servassier Dennis. He's officially out for this.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to be without Tyke Smith, who is listed as doubtful for this game as well. So you're looking at inside linebacker. Maybe it's an upgrade with Deion Jones. You're certainly looking at a downgrade at safety, and that's no disrespect to Christian Isian, who will be in for Tyke Smith. It's just a nod and a tip of the cap to what Tyke Smith has been doing this season. Defensively, last year you had Kalijah Cansey in that game, if I'm not.
That's true.
At least for one of them. He's not in there this time around.
Yeah.
You'll have Hassan Reddick, but.
Oh, but you know what? I know who the Bucs are going to have in this game.
Yes.
Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan.
Bada bing, bada boom. Yes, that is the big news. Maybe we buried the lead a little bit there. Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan, a couple of minutes before this show started, about half an hour, they have been activated to the Bucs active roster. They've been taken off of injured reserve. A monumental moment for several reasons. I mean, Mike Evans, this will be his second return this season, having last played in Week 7. Week 7, that was so long ago, on Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions. And then Jalen McMillan has not played since Week 2 of the preseason. Right. I remember, obviously we all remember him like backflipping and everything like that. Jalen McMillan was kind enough to speak to the media when we were in Pittsburgh the day before. They had a practice at Carnegie Mellon University, a very small school in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And they're on their field, and we got to speak to him after. And then literally 3 days later, he got flipped upside the head, has not played yet this season. This is such a needed influx for this Bucs team that has really struggled in their recent games. 20 points against the Saints in a loss, 20 points in a win, but still not looking flawless against the Cardinals. Only 7 points against the Rams. They had a huge game against the Bills, but really their last 3 games, their offense has struggled. Clearly, it's taken a toll on Emeka Egbuka and the drops that have kind of seeped in for him a little bit. Chris Godwin Jr. can only help so much. So we'll see how much Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan end up playing in this game. But even if it's on a pitch count, you can throw Mike Evans in the red zone. He's already played this season. Jalen McMillan just gives something that the other defense, and in this case, the Falcons, have to focus on. Every single week, it seems like they need a little bit of juice. We obviously talked a lot about JPP coming in during this week and on yesterday's mini episode. But my goodness, if there's any type of rah-rah that this Bucs team needs, I think it's coming from those 2 players specifically that had really, I mean, obviously everyone knows what Mike means to Tampa Bay and this team. Sure. But even Jalen McMillan, what he provided to this team last year at the end of the season, sorely and much needed.
Yeah, for sure. And some more good news, Tristan Wirfs is going to be playing. He wasn't even on the injury report. So he had a full practice today, and the oblique injury is not an issue anymore. Kudos to Ben Chikwuma. I thought he did a really good job filling in for Tristan on Sunday against the Saints. Matter of fact, he's the lead cover guy for my latest Bucs Brightside video, which just came out. So do me a favor. I know you don't want to watch it. I know you don't. I didn't even want to do it. I waited till Wednesday to do it. But it's like the best 6 minutes and 37 seconds you're going to have today. So I tried to be really funny and humorous, and let me know what you think. Just watch the video after the show, and I dropped the link in there. So let me know. I kind of roasted some guys, but it is the season, for roasted chestnuts and toasted marshmallows and all that. So let me know what you think. Just check out Bucs Brightside. It's up on Pewter Report TV. I also dropped a link in the chat there. You mentioned yesterday's show, and we spent a lot of time. We can talk about them today too. We're going to talk about whatever's on your mind today and do a little bit of Falcons preview. We'll get to more Falcons preview tomorrow in our Pewter pregame show. But we did spend a lot of time, 32 minutes, primarily talking about Jason Pierre-Paul and Jason Light and Todd Bowles yesterday. So if you missed yesterday's show and you're looking for something to do leading up to the game tomorrow night, well, go ahead and check this out on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. And it's doing very well. So thank you all for tuning into that live or for just watching it. But that's another video we didn't expect to do, but we didn't expect them to sign Jason Pierre-Paul Monday night. So, but it was big news. So we did a video on that on Tuesday. I will say, I believe on Thursday night games, just like on Monday night games, teams have up until 4:00 to bring somebody up on the day of the game and make them active. So we don't know if Jason Pierre-Paul is going to be in play or not. I'm at the point where it's like, why not?
I want to see it. I'm not going to lie. I want it. If Phil Rivers is going to start at quarterback for the Colts.
What are you waiting for, Monday, Buccaneers?
I want to see JP on Thursday. And if you can't get to the quarterback, okay. Neither can Chris Braswell, besides he has to Neither can Hassan Reddick for every game but one that he's played this season. Neither is Marquise Watts or Mo Camara. Just put JPP in line with everybody else. And, I saw some people being like, why are you doing a show about, a practice squad guy? To me, it's more of the history of JPP with the Bucs than it necessarily is him coming in and being the savior or not being the savior and helping out this team specifically. It's like a combination of what he could do this year and then also, him just returning back to the league and playing in the NFL as well. So I hope JPP gets called up. It remains to be seen, but why not? I mean, nothing else is working from the edge rushers on this team. The game by Anthony Nelson a month ago against the Saints, that's a one and done. You're not going to see that every single.
That was a one-off day.
It's a one-off.
He had a career in one Sunday. That was it. So
it's not generating consistently all the time. So. Another thing, too, it actually crossed my mind when I was at practice today because they're wearing the creamsicles and they have the Bucco Bruce. If he does play, it'll be the first time we've seen JPP in the creamsicle jersey because he was here from 2018 to 2021. So he's been in different versions of jerseys, the alarm clock jerseys that I hate, and the traditional red and white when they brought it back in 2020.
He even had the all-pewter uniform.
All-pewter jersey as well. But the new creamsicle jerseys didn't come back until 2023, and JPP was not on that team anymore. So that's it doesn't really matter one way or another, but a little extra, thing to enjoy.
This is an all hands on deck situation here. You lost to the Saints last week. You gotta win at least 4. I should say at least 4. Yeah, win at least 3 out of the 4, right? To feel good about your chances of staying on top of the division and making the playoffs. And this is one of those you got to win. Like if you're going to drop one, drop the Miami game. That's an AFC opponent. You pretty much got to win Thursday night and then sweep the Panthers, to cement your place in there. Otherwise, if you only get 2 out of those 4, then you got to hope that the Panthers have a stub your toe game along the way too. And they've done it a couple times. They even lost to the Saints at home too by 10 points up in Carolina. So we shall see. But why not? I mean, this is all hands on deck. Jalen McMillan, Tristan Wirfs, Mike Evans, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, get them all out there. Help this team win. Oh boy. So we do have Rondé Barber too. Let's just get Rondé Barber out there to help. I think he could help out the secondary. Cool. So we do have a little bit of. It'd be fun. And Rondé Barber, friend of the program, is going to be making return appearance to the program on Monday. That's right. So, hopefully we'll have a Victory Friday show on Friday for you, but that's going to kind of be our post-game wrap-up show of the week. We typically do that on Mondays when the games are on Sundays, but we're doing it on Friday for you Pewter people. And that's going to be probably around the time we typically do Pewter Insider, like around 1:30, 2 o'clock. We have to wait to see what time Todd Bowles is going to speak because we do want to get Todd's comments before we do that podcast in case there's any major news or whatever. So look for that earlier. We're not going to do it at 4 o'clock. It's going to be earlier in the day on Friday for that podcast, and that's going to be available to everybody. No Pewter Insider this week. But Monday, 4 o'clock, special guest, Bucs Hall of Famer Rondé Barber joins the show. So that's going to be a fun show to kick off next week as it's Bucs versus Panthers week. And, of course, we'll have our Bucs-Panthers preview on Wednesday. And maybe if they decide to sign Simeon Rice on Monday night, then we'll have an emergency podcast on Tuesday about that, or any other Bucs legend they want to bring back to help out this team down the stretch. Yeah,
I mean, I know Rondé played a different position than Tyke, but I wonder if Rondé, like, could he strap him up for 3 plays? Like, what if, like,
We'll
Tampa Bay
ask him.
needed 3 plays from Rondé Barber? Say it's
Yeah.
at the goal line, Bucs have to win to get into the postseason.
Yeah.
Could he play 3 snaps, like in the slot, or I don't know, maybe Zion McCollum's getting cooked and you want Rondé at corner?
Well,
3 plays.
we will ask him. That's a great question. I would love to know how many plays he thinks he could play, and we'll ask him
Right
that on
now,
Monday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's always hypotheticals, like, if you were running back on a team, 1 snap, like in your current self, like, could
Right.
you gain 1 yard? And
Yeah.
a lot of people you're either over the top confident, like, yeah, of course I can get 1 yard, or no, I'm going to lose 5 yards, or whatever the case may be. So,
Yep.
yeah, always great when we have Rondé on. He was on last year.
Yep.
Or he was on building up to the going into the Hall of Fame, which obviously was an awesome honor. So it'd be cool to kind of get his thoughts a little bit more on, like, the current Bucs, because he's doing a lot with WFLA and has his own show. So always great when we have Bucs legends on.
I guess he's already answered that question. He's cooked. That's great. I don't know. I still like my chances. I still believe in Rondé. So that's good.
Maybe I'll ask him, because him and Tiki, obviously, Tiki being a running back in the NFL,
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, in high school and stuff, they played offense and defense.
Right.
Is Rondé a better running back going from corner to running back, or is Tiki a better corner going from running back to corner? I wonder.
Interesting. That's a
better
good
than
one.
that as well.
That's good. The other question I would ask is, at this time, because they're both the same age, literally like seconds apart, maybe minutes apart, being twins, in the hole, right? Set up some bags, like you're at practice, like the tackling dummies, set them up like a running lane, and you got 1 shot. Is Rondé going to tackle Tiki? Can Rondé still tackle Tiki, or would Tiki juke Rondé or break a tackle? I want to know.
I like
so that's probably more age appropriate, because see, I'm 53. I think Rondé's 50 or 51, something like that. Because I started covering the team in 95. He joined the Bucs in 97. So I think I'm 2 years older than Rondé, maybe 3. So interesting. So we'll have some good stuff there coming up for you. But let's talk about, what a difference Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan can actually make, because we know that I think this is going to take some pressure off of Emeka Egbuka and probably help out his coverages. I mean, if you're Raheem Morris and and running the defense and all that, and you're looking at Mike Evans' return, well, you're going to stick AJ Terrell on Mike Evans. You're not going to sit there and say, well, Mike's a little rusty, so we'll stick our nickel corner on him or something like that. No, they're going to go big gun on big gun. So this should create some more favorable matchups for someone like Emeka Egbuka, who's had to be that number 1 role pretty much the whole season and face double coverage and the top cornerback in the other team, things like that. So it hasn't been easy. Hopefully it gets a little easier with the return of Mike, just simply because he's had some big games against the Falcons before, right? I mean, there he is cooking AJ Terrell here in Tampa for a touchdown. So we'd love nothing better to see Mike Evans come back and just have that like fantastic breakthrough game that he's had before. But how much rust is there going to be? That's kind of the question, Matt. Is how much rust is he going to have? How much rust is Jalen McMillan going to have? Right? I mean, it's a big deal to come back, and the last time you played was the second preseason game of the year. Oh, we have some breaking news from Josh Capo for all of those big Mike Evans fans out there, and I know it's pretty much all of you. So Mike Evans, to get to 1,000 yards and keep his record alive, he needs to average 53.75 yards per quarter for the rest of the season.
Not bad.
That's
all right, Garzard. Let's
go
deep. Go deep.
That's right. There you go.
Watch, it's going to be like a trick play in the first quarter. It's going to be like a halfback toss to Bucky, and then Bucky's going to throw it, because Bucky did launch that ball into
that was a good
crowd
scramble
after he scored the touchdown.
Yeah,
after he scored the touchdown against the Cardinals. So, yeah, I'm calling it now. Halfback pass, Bucky to Mike Evans. 60-yard touchdown. Bucs go up 7-0.
Now, can you imagine like if Mike got like 100 yards in the first half or something? Which, I mean, that's been done before, right? You get like a 70-yard touchdown, a couple catches. You finish with maybe 175 yards or 200 yards. But Mike's had a 200-yard game before, maybe 2. But if he had like 100 yards, boy, that would get fans chomping at the bit, right? They'd be like, "Oh, he could do it." He needs another 100 yards in the second half, and he just needs to do 100 yards every game, or in the first half of every game. I don't know. It's sad that the record has to end this year, but you know what? My hope is that Mike says, I don't want to go out like this. I want to come back and have another 1,000-yard season in year 13, which is the year you and I, Matt, have kind of forecasted that maybe Mike Evans sticks around because 13 has been so prominent in his career. He even has the numbers 13 in his MIKE logo. So we'll see. See what happens.
Yeah, so I just looked it up because if there is anyone that breaks all-time records in this league, it is Mike Evans. The single season, so the top single game receiving yardage performance. The record holder is, of course, the one and only the great Flipper Anderson. In 1989, had 336 yards.
That's right.
In one game.
Yeah.
The most recent one that was closest and second all time is Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
329 yards, which that was an unreal game. So obviously not expecting Mike to get anywhere near that. But part of me today was, well, what if Mike just goes insane? And like it would have to be something where a defender slips and Mike is wide open and it's an 80-yard touchdown or whatever. But you know what? One can dream. It's the holiday season. Miracles happen. So.
That's right. That is Stitch Happens. Cat says, I think this might be the Bright Side Pod. You guys are smoking crack. That's fantastic. Oh, yeah.
Shout out Rob Ford.
Yeah, well, the last time the Bucs played the Falcons, they won. Mekabuka had a great day. Maybe he gets a little bit of mojo from week one playing the Falcons, kind of, watching some film and saying, oh, yeah, look what I did against the Falcons the last time. But a lot's changed. I mean, certainly the quarterback has changed because now you have Kirk Cousins in for the injured Michael Penix Jr. It's unfortunate Michael Penix Jr., who's from Tampa, went up to Dade City High School and, just north of Tampa. It's unfortunate he won't get to play the Buccaneers at home. I'm sure he would have a ton of fans here wanting to watch him play. He'll probably have family and stuff in the stadium. But yeah, so they're going to have Kirk Cousins again. And there's no Drake London. But, Matt, as we saw in other previous games, you don't need a lot of talent to beat this Bucs defense. We saw Tyler Shuck and a little bit of Chris Olave and some Devon Vele and some Devin Neal thrown in for good measure last week. That was enough to do the trick against this Bucs defense. What's your level of confidence that the Todd Bowles unit can all of a sudden get right and probably be without Servassier Dennis and without Tyke Smith and prevent what happened last year against Kirk Cousins?
Okay, so I have enough confidence to believe that this defense will allow less than 500 passing yards for Kirk Cousins.
That's a start. That's good.
That's the bar that we've reached. In terms of, limiting the overall passing game, now obviously not having Drake London is a huge boost. Also have to remember, though, what Bijan Robinson did to this Bucs team in week one in the passing game. I got to say, I give it about 20% in terms of the chances that the Bucs are able to slow down Kirk Cousins. And I guess I will say the overall Bucs, the Falcons passing game. Because to your point, the Saints had, I don't want to say no names, but, they had a lot of not well-known guys kind of pop off against this team. And just looking at the Falcons, no Drake London. Darnell Mooney is a guy that's, been in the league for quite a while and has done some stuff. Devin Tompkins, remember him? The former Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Yep.
You don't think he's going to want to do some things against his former team and rack up some yards and stuff like that. And he's been involved in the offense a little bit more, just obviously without Drake London. Kyle Pitts, if he ends up playing, only winds up having good games against the Bucs more than anybody else.
That's so unfair, isn't it?
I know.
It just is.
Now he's got his best friend Kyle Trask over there as for a little more motivation. Hey, you cut my buddy. You cut my boy, Kyle Trask. I'm talking as Kyle Pitts, not Tara. But, the problem is we've seen time and time again, everybody watches this Bucs defense self-implode, self-destruct, embarrassing games where they can't get any stops. And you get even an average game.
Yeah.
And then Todd Bowles thinks, all right, this is all fixed. Like they look terrible against the Seahawks. They end up winning that game.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, you go out and then you win another one and you're fine. But it's like, no, you're not fine. Now teams are just picking up more information about how to go and defeat your team. It very much feels like the definition of insanity, which is, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I don't really see much different from Buffalo going insane on the Bucs, and then the Rams going insane on the Bucs, and the Cardinals were moving the ball down the field. Credit to the Bucs for getting some turnovers in that game.
Right.
But then the Saints, the same exact thing. 5-yard throws over the middle, 10-yard throws over the middle, establishing the run game, running with the quarterback, which was a little bit different than what other teams, had been doing. The Bucs just no other team looks helpless the way that the Bucs do, at least on the defensive side, which is really damn sad when you have a defensive coach calling the plays.
I'm with you, Matt. So let's put on your Matty Diamonds hat for a minute here. Let's just do some hypotheticals here because I'm with you. I mean, I don't know if he's going to do it or not, folks. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know the script. I don't know what the script is for tomorrow night's game, so I just don't know. But Kirk Cousins has thrown for 4 touchdowns in each of the last 2 games against the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
What's the over-under in this? 3.5, 4, 3? You know what I'm saying?
In fairness, you have to make it 2.5 because, yes, he destroys the Bucs, but he hasn't played the Bucs since last season, and even Kirk Cousins this year coming in for Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. Yep.
It's much different.
I guess that's what I'm asking you, Matt. Is he going to turn into Superman again tomorrow?
Well, that's what I'm thinking too. Is like, is Kirk Cousins? Does he get done with the game on Sunday and goes, "Oh man, like we played terribly. Got to wipe the slate clean." Goes to bed and he wakes up. And I imagine Kirk Cousins probably has like matching pajamas with like a little cap that he goes to sleep with, and he wakes up and he goes, "Oh boy, I'm playing the Bucs today. I'm so flippin' excited," because he doesn't like
PJs from Kohl's, of course, right?
Yes, PJs from Kohl's going, "I'm so flippin' excited to play on Thursday Night Football to go up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers." I go back to he was on the first season of Quarterback on Netflix, which was great, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and I remember the first Bucs-Falcons game, he went back to his notes from the Vikings-Bucs game, Baker Mayfield's first game with Tampa Bay, when Kirk Cousins was still with the Vikings. And he's like, I have notes from when I played high school in certain games. Yes, I have notes from every single game, and he brings them out for each opponent. I mean, the notes that he must have from the 500-yard passing game and then the other win in Tampa, I'm sure he's been studying that left and right because, there's some different personnel, but it's still the same scheme. It's still Todd Bowles dialing up. I think the over-under's got to be 2.5. I hope the Bucs get the under, but it's truly a coin flip with are you going to get bad Kirk Cousins or Kirk O'Chains that has dominated the Bucs?
Right. Well, and the thing too is what we saw from Michael Penix in the first game of the season was the swing passes to the running backs. Now there's no Servassier Dennis in this game. He's out, but I mean, how much faith do you have in old man Deion Jones, who's 30? How much confidence do you have in Levante David at this point? And I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade at Levante. I love the guy. He's an absolute legend. Please don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's like we saw Tyler Shuck pulling away from Levante David on that 39-yard run. Like we've reached kind of the end where Father Time is knocking on the door and saying, "Hey, Levante, can you open the door, please?" That's just where we are, right? And they signed Nick Jackson to the active roster this week. He's kind of a bit of a phenom during the preseason. Had 2 interceptions or a sack and a couple of or 2 sacks and an interception. He was pretty flashy player. Sure. Yeah. So he and John Bullock and Deion Jones, they're going to kind of be rotating in there in certain packages for Todd Bowles. We do know that Kirk Cousins absolutely victimized twice the middle of the field in the Bucs defense last year. Slant passes, tight end. I mean, it just was there for the taking. KJ Britt and Levante were just helpless, really. Levante had one interception in that game across the middle of the field, but that was under duress and probably should have won the game for the Buccaneers, but unfortunately it didn't. It was late in the fourth quarter, but they couldn't keep the ball and couldn't score and couldn't stop the Falcons, etc. But we saw Tyler Shuck really kind of target the middle of the field. And by that, I mean the linebackers, Sebastian Dennis, Levante David, the safeties, Tyke, Antoine Winfield Jr., and Jacob Parrish, the nickel corner, who I think struggled the last couple of weeks, for sure. That's got to be inviting. So it's like if you're Kirk Cousins and you don't have big play Drake London down the field, that's okay, because you're gonna be looking for the middle of the field for Pitts and for Kadero Hodge, for Darnell Mooney on some of those slants. And then you're going to be looking for Bijan and for Tyler Algier right out in the flats and see if you can get yards after catch on the Bucs linebackers. It's kind of a pick your poison right there.
Yeah, I legitimately am concerned about Bijan for the Bucs, about Bijan Robinson. I think he's going to hit the overs on his rushing yards and his receiving yards, partially because it's now the playoff time for fantasy football, and I'm going against Bijan Robinson, so I'm just already bracing to be down like 35 points going into the weekend.
Right.
But my thing with Deion Jones is, yes, he's an older player, but he's kind of been known to be more of a coverage linebacker, maybe not a ball hawking linebacker, but a guy that, gets around the football, gets his hand on the football. And I'm thinking, oh, that's great. But then it just kind of reminds me of last year in the playoff game against the Washington Commanders. Deion Jones had an opportunity to intercept a pass from Jaden Daniels. It was right in his hands. He should have caught it at the goal line. He didn't. Now, the Bucs ended up getting a stop on fourth down and got the ball back, so no points were scored. But, that's one example. And then Sunday's game is another prime example of, if he intercepts the football on that third down, the Bucs have the ball midfield with just under 2 minutes to go, versus back at their 20, so way less of the field that they have to march down. And they didn't even get one damn first down, so who knows what it would have mattered anyway in terms of that. So I guess on the one hand, it's good Deion Jones is around the football, but if you're not taking the football away, then it's just a uninspiring pass breakup. And by that, I just mean, like, sometimes it's, great play. You knocked the ball out. That was going to be an 80-yard gain for the receiver. There's other times where it's, that should have been an interception. What are you doing? And a lot of this has applied to Ty McCollum on the season. But for this, I don't know, maybe because he's around the football more often, it will translate into an interception regardless. But I don't know. I kind of hope there's more of a rotation. I'd like to see Nick Jackson. I know John Bullock's more of a special teams guy than a stand-up linebacker, but I don't think they should just have Levante and Deion Jones for, all 100% of the snaps. I don't think that's a good recipe for the Bucs to win this game.
Using words like recipe, mix, it just has me thinking of walk-ons and their starting lineup sampler. How is that for a Mark Cook transition? Oh, Mark, there you go. So proud of me. Boneless wings, cheeseburger sliders, mozzarella logs. They're not sticks, folks. They're logs. They're huge, and they're so tasty. That's the starting lineup sampler. The fan favorite is back at walk-ons. And if you're going to the game, well, great. Maybe you want some food before the game. So stop by any of those 3 area Tampa Bay walk-ons locations: Wesley Chapel, Midtown Tampa, which is just down the street from the stadium, and in Lakeland. And maybe you want to eat at the game. Maybe you want to just do some tailgating there rather than checking out all the great TVs and the action at walk-ons. That's fine. You can stop by walk-ons and grab catering. Maybe for your home watch party. Maybe it's too late to go to the stadium. You don't have tickets. You want to watch the game at home. That's fine. Take your event to the next level with the new catering program from Walk-Ons. Order directly online at catering.walkons.com or in the new app, Walk-Ons for the win. And good news is they're going to be having 2 happy hours, one today from 3 to 6 and another one from 9 to close. And tomorrow night, that's right, you can actually watch the game during happy hour and eat all of the food at the happy hour prices. You can't get better than that. So maybe watch the game at Walk-Ons, because tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football, that's the second part of their happy hour. Not just from 3 to 6, but from 9 to close. So there you go. Eat like a winner, drink like a champ at Walk-On. Speaking of tomorrow, it is game day. And that means Pewter pregame tomorrow at 9 a.m. Can't watch it live? Well, that's fine. We're going to have it archived for you all the way up until kickoff, so you can check it out at Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. And then at 8:15, Matt Matera and Daniel Morales will be on the call for Pewter Game Day, bringing you all the reaction to the action. And then, of course, tomorrow night, we're going to have a Bucs versus Falcons postgame podcast. We'll also have another podcast on Friday, hopefully a Victory Friday podcast. And then just a reminder, Rondé Barber joins the program on Monday. We'll be talking to the Bucs Hall of Famer. Not so much about memory lane. We've kind of done that on the show before. We're going to get Rondé's insight on the current state of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Matt, will they be 7-6? Well, they'll be 7-7 or 8-6. And it will be fun to see. Oh God, please no.
I kind of want a tie for the
no
game.
Overtime ties on a Thursday night game. That would be torture for everybody. So
could be history. More time for Mike Evans to get receiving yards.
That's true.
Okay, Bucs win in overtime after they kick a field goal. Falcons kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Mike Evans game-winning touchdown.
80-yard touchdown.
300 yards.
Pump up the yards. Love it. We also love super chats. So let's get to a couple super chats. Thanks for waiting.
Yes. Florida Dreamhouse, thank you for the $2 super chat, says, in recognition of Adam Slavon's latest for Pewter Report.
Yeah, I dropped it in the chat at the start of the show. Make sure you check out Adam Slavon's latest article. He did a really good deep dive into what has been plaguing Baker Mayfield. The title of the article is up on PewterReport.com. What's really happened to Baker Mayfield in the Bucs offense? Did a really good deep dive and got some really interesting statistics that kind of point out some of the problems. So if you want to know what's happening with Baker Mayfield in the offense, read that article on PewterReport.com.
Mark Fisher, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, is Tez and Shepard now demoted to the practice squad? Go Bucs. No. So what Tampa Bay did, they obviously had to make room for Mike and Jalen because they were on injured reserve. They waived C.J. Brewer, the defensive tackle, and they also waived Ryan Miller, who's a wide receiver. So Tez Johnson and Sterling Shepard are still on the active roster. Wouldn't be surprised if both of those. I know the practice squad's pretty full right now, but could see C.J. Brewer or Ryan Miller both ending up on the practice squad at some point or another this season, or going into next year as well. They definitely at this point, I don't think would demote Tez Johnson to the practice squad because he's done some stuff this year. He's probably not going to be
also too
involved as much.
You'd have to cut Tez, and then another team could pick him up. And sign him. So I think he's already done enough to warrant some interest from a wide receiver needy team out there. So they probably are not in position where they could try to sneak him on the practice squad. Glad to see Ryan Miller down there, if I'm being honest. Ryan Miller.
I mean, you were mad at him that last,
I was.
The kick coverage.
Yeah, 2 blown contained coverages on kick coverage, including the big one to start the game. So, deserved it.
Cameron Page, 7286, who has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin Jr. Logo there in the creamsicle jersey. Thanks for the $1.99. Says, do you guys think Feeney is better than Haggard? Talking about the guard.
I don't think he's been maybe as bad as some fans think. I don't think he's been as bad maybe as the PFF grade. I know that the offensive line coach and the quarterback trust him more because of his experience. He's kind of fit into that offensive line room seamlessly with his stash and his mullet. So he's got a lot of experience. I would say that they're probably about tie in terms of ability. I think Haggard's a bigger guy, he just doesn't have the experience. And so usually in that instance, the tie goes to the more experienced player. And I don't think Feeney's played poorly enough to be demoted necessarily.
Correct.
But it's interesting because now without Ben Bredeson, they're going to stick with Mike Jordan there. And I mean, it's been rougher with Jordan than it has been with Feeney. And so, me personally, I would probably give Luke Haggard a chance, but they're in playoff must-win mode right now. So they're going to go with the veteran players, which is Jordan and Feeney, just because of their experience.
Yeah, it feels like with Mike Jordan, he had that knee injury for a little while, missed some time, and then, was able to got through it and play. But to me, it seems like that that knee injury has kind of impacted his play a little bit more. And then when it comes to Feeney and Haggard, yes, Haggard has the size, but I don't think either player, like the gap in their talent and skill set and what they've done this season, it's not wide enough where the Bucs necessarily need to make a change. So I got no problem with Dan Feeney starting at guard. It hasn't been a gigantic issue for this team. And really all these players are just kind of, again, no offense to them, but they're all holdovers until Cody Mauch is healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
And ready to go next season. And same with Ben Bredesen. But once again, shows how important depth is at the position.
And there is a chance that Ben Bredesen, if they make it into the playoffs, that he could return in January. I want to say it's probably a PCL injury. If that's the case, they don't typically let us know what type of knee injury it is, but PCLs are usually kind of like a 2 to 6 week, average around 4 week injury. So if he misses the next 4 weeks, that's the next 4 games. In theory, he could maybe be back for that wild card home playoff game if Tampa Bay handles business and wins the division.
Zach Jarvis, thank you for the $1.99 super chat with the good question. Do you think Winfield is living up to his contract?
No, I do not. No.
So I don't think so either. There's no doubt about it. He's playing better than he did last season, but obviously last season was hampered by a lot of injuries. I mean, I think you can go back to the first game of the season. Winfield had that big pass breakup at the end of the game against Atlanta that saved the touchdown that inevitably saved the game for Tampa Bay. He had an interception last week, which was important. There's no doubt about it. His best game was against the Saints in New Orleans with the interception and the fumble recovery and everything he did there. He's showing up in certain spots, but what made him elite 2 seasons ago, and he's nowhere close to what he was 2 seasons ago, was taking over games, fumbles into the end zone, going for touchbacks, legitimately saving points for this team, flying around everywhere.
That's right.
Hasn't gotten to the quarterback recently. Maybe they'll use that more this game because no Tyke Smith. You know, they've kind of relied on blitzing Tyke Smith a little bit more. And he is doubtful. I shouldn't say no Tyke Smith, but it's likely that he's not going to play.
Yeah, we don't think he's going to play, right?
Correct. But no, he has not lived up to his contract, unfortunately.
Yeah. And Winfield only has 1 sack. And I mean, he is a guy that typically has been dialed into a lot of blitzes with the Buccaneers. Now, he did have a play, like say against the Seahawks, where he didn't get to the quarterback, but he pressured Sam Darnold into that kind of errant throw that ricocheted off of Logan Hall's helmet and into the arms of Levante David. And that was a big play. But the thing is, I kind of have this saying, he makes plays, but he doesn't have days. Where, in other words, you don't feel his presence the entire game, right? It's like he'll make a play, a good pass breakup, or maybe like an interception, right? But do you feel his presence? Like we felt his presence a ton in 2023, where he was like a one-man gang in some of those games, where it was just like, it was his day. And it's he hasn't had those. He hasn't had days, and he hasn't had enough plays, if we're being honest. If you're getting paid over $20 million as a defensive back, he's making $25.025 million, highest paid safety, I believe, still. And his stat line is not where it needs to be. He needs to have more plays on his football card, if we're being honest. And you look at his stat line, and he's really being outplayed by Tyke Smith, if we're being honest. Tyke's been the more consistent and splashier player. But he's got 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, right? Now, he should have had 2 touchdowns in New Orleans. Maybe that makes everything a little bit better that way. He's had 7 passes defense. Is it better than last year? Absolutely. But it just hasn't been as impactful. And let's go back to not 2023. Let's go back to 2022. He had 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception, 5 pass breakups. He's kind of like on par for that. Like we're right before his breakout season. But he's even had, other seasons, like his second season in the league, where he was not a rookie anymore. He had 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions, 8 pass breakups. So he's had more impactful seasons. Season isn't over. He's still got 4 games to do it. And by God, if you're going to do it now, Antoine, and really come on strong, because this team needs you.
Yeah, maybe he is saving his best for last. Maybe, obviously, not having Tyke Smith kind of kicks it into high gear a little bit more for him
Yeah.
and his play. But, 2 seasons ago, he was the best defensive player on this team. There's no question
Yeah.
about it. Now he might not even be maybe top 3. I mean, if you go Tyke,
Yeah.
Jamel Dean, maybe he's third. But even if he's
Yep.
third, I mean, that probably says more about how bad the rest of the defense has been versus
Yeah.
what he's doing. Aviation 1436, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says rent on Kirk Cousins over 210 passing yards. I've seen it go even lower as well. And yeah, I'm in full agreement. Quarterbacks have had their best games against the Bucs, high volume numbers. And the only reason why Tyler Shuck didn't have over on his passing yards total, 1, it was pouring rain, and 2, he ran for so many yards that he didn't need to throw it much. I can tell you, Kirk Cousins is not going to run for the same amount that Tyler Shuck did. If he did, something has gone completely wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially a low number like that, definitely take Kirk Cousins over in his passing yards. Also, crazy to think that Baker Mayfield has not thrown for over 200 yards in several games in a row at this point.
This isn't a super chat, but let's just bring this up real quick because this is kind of talking about the quarterback position. As Logan Valente says, if Kyle Trask comes in and torches us, that would be a fitting end for Bowles. I mean, can you imagine a more catastrophic scenario for fans of this football team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to see Kyle Trask come in for an injured Kirk Cousins or even an ineffective Kirk Cousins and light up this Buccaneers secondary and linebacker core and lead the Falcons to a win? I mean, like that is a catastrophe upon an apocalypse if that happens.
That would be, and it's not the same exact level because there was higher stakes in this one, but it would have to be close to what I imagine how Raiders fans felt when John Gruden with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beats the Raiders in the Super Bowl. Now that would be worse because it's much higher stakes than what's going on with Bucs Falcons. But I mean, the amount of red-faced, angry people just absolutely livid about what went on, and Kyle Trask of all people,
I know,
defeating this Todd Bowles defense.
I mean,
it would be ugly. It would be awful. I don't want to see it.
It would be like taking 5 or 6 melatonin at night and then having like the absolute worst nightmare. It would be like waking up from a nightmare while you're still asleep and then being in another nightmare and then waking up from that one, but you're not really truly awake yet. It's almost like Inception, the movie, right? Where
it's like Inception, levels, but a horror movie.
Yeah, it's like the nightmare that doesn't end. I mean, I can't think of anything more like catastrophic happening than that, just from like a fan psyche standpoint.
Yeah, I don't know how much worse it could, especially because he never got his opportunity to start.
That's what I'm saying.
Stuff like that.
And like,
but yeah, it would say more about Bowles.
You have another backup quarterback coming in and ripping apart a Todd Bowles defense. I mean, that would be like tsunami level distraught.
Yeah, for sure. The Delaney, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, what do you guys think about Marcus Freeman as a head coach? He is young and energetic, gives me D'Amico Ryans vibes. Keep a BMAC as wide receiver coach and the O-line coaches.
Yeah. All right, Matt. I know you're a Notre Dame hater, and I kind of am too. I'm going to cut right in front of you, and I'm going to give you kind of like a little example here, and I think you're going to understand what I'm saying. I love Demario Davis. I've got all the respect in the world for Demario Davis. He's one of my favorite players. I don't like when he does good things against the Bucs, but I mean, I respect the hell out of that guy. Really good player.
Yeah.
But I hate the Saints. I can't stand Notre Dame. Don't like him at all. But Marcus Freeman, that dude's a good coach. He's a good coach, and this is not a good year. If you want Todd Bowles out, you tell me who the candidates are that really, float your boat. You tell me who's going to bring some juice to the Buccaneers. It's a bunch of defensive-minded guys, okay? So, let's start there. There's no Liam Cohen. There's no Ben Johnson. There's not even like a Mike Vrabel, who's kind of like that Dan Campbell hard ass type. There just isn't. This is not a good offseason if you need a head coach coming into 2026. Marcus Freeman, though, him and Kirby Smart, I don't think Kirby Smart's going anywhere. But Marcus Freeman, yeah, I would be interested. If Todd Bowles got fired, I would definitely want to talk to him, and I would definitely put him in consideration because he is young, energetic, he's proven, and yes, he does give D'Amico Ryan vibes. Matt, what do you say?
Yeah, so I think everyone on the show knows I'm a big-time Notre Dame hater, but I am fair and just when it comes to overall analysis, reaction. I've been on our show, on our draft show, saying that Benjamin Morrison was my favorite draft pick by the Bucs.
Yep.
I like Benjamin Morrison coming out of Notre Dame, and I can look aside from the Notre Dame hatred.
Yeah.
And part of the problem with Marcus Freeman is that he's very likable, and he made Notre Dame likable. And I did not like that because I don't like Notre Dame. So when I saw that the Giants were interested in Marcus Freeman and the odds were minus 200 that he would be the Giants' next coach, I was fist pumping because that means he's leaving Notre Dame.
Right.
Now, is Marcus Freeman a good coach because Notre Dame has the easiest schedule year after year after year? Maybe a little bit, but he is a great leader.
Yep.
He inspires. He's enthusiastic, and he's a young coach, like you mentioned, which is all very, very important. He actually played defense at Ohio State, which made the national championship that much more interesting. Don't love having a defensive guy replace a defensive coach, but as you said as well, not having a lot of great offensive minds or offensive candidates, I wouldn't mind Marcus Freeman coming to Tampa Bay. I think it would make a lot of sense. Now, Marcus Freeman would have to decide, do I want to go to the Giants where I'm going to have Jackson Dart, a young up-and-coming quarterback, and he's just got to focus on the defense and stuff like that, versus the Bucs. You do have a lot of players in place, and you're playing in the NFC South, which is a lot more winnable than the NFC East.
That's right.
I think the Bucs should certainly entertain it if everything falls flat with Todd Bowles. So good question. And I got a lot of respect for Marcus Freeman, despite how I feel about Notre Dame. Let's get to this $9.99 super chat from No Logic. Funny way to spell it. Says teams built with high picks, elite coaches, or teams that made a big trade. Light's plan is compete with undrafted free agents, bargain shopping, and mid-round picks. It sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud.
Yeah, but he had to do some of that for a couple of years after because they had to pay off the credit card from the Super Bowl, right? I mean, they re-signed everybody back in 2021. Tom Brady got extended. They gave that huge money to Ryan Jensen, which was a good idea at the time. Who knew that his knee was going to get blown out in the second day of training camp in 2022 and in his career, But no, I don't. That's not the plan. That's kind of what they've had to do a little bit. I mean, they did spend money. They gave $14 million. It's almost painful to hear it come out of my mouth. They gave $14 million to Hassan Reddick. It just hadn't worked. Right. So it's not like they have been reluctant to spend. They've just decided to put more money into their own players. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. If you want to throw open your mouth, I'm going to tell you that between those two guys, they're making $43 million this year, and between them they have one touchdown. Okay, so but that wasn't part of the plan. That the plan was for Mike to be a 1,000-yard guy again, and Chris to be a 1,000-yard guy, and combined for 15, 20 touchdowns. That's what the plan was. But sometimes the plan doesn't work. The plan was for Hassan Reddick to look more like the guy with the Eagles than he was with the Jets. But we got the guy with the Jets last year with 1.5 sack. So I listen, you're going to see a course correction. You're going to see a course correction come this offseason. This is not going to be status quo. Trust me on that. I've had conversations. Just trust me. This is what it's been working is not working now. And they're going to have to switch gears. So.
Yeah, it's all about the results, and the results have adjusted in recent years, so the Bucs have to adjust it as well. Kings Are Awful, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says this could be a very ugly game. Yeah, I think it really could be, because the Falcons defense, like, they will implode at times, but
Yeah.
there is talent there that
Yeah.
can shut down Tampa Bay. And, Kirk Cousins got benched for a reason. It might not even
Yeah.
be because of the Bucs defense playing well, but if Kirk Cousins is off his game,
Mm-hmm.
could be kind of disgusting.
Yeah, it's interesting because James Pierce, who they traded next year's first round pick for, right? So they're not going to have the benefit of like a top 5 or top 10 finish in the draft because the Rams get their pick. But James Pierce has got 6 sacks, 33 pressures according to Pro Football Focus. He's actually been the better of the 2 pass rushers. Not that Javon Walker's been bad. He's got 5 sacks, but yeah, I mean they've got a pretty good pass rush. Brandon Dorless, who I'm not sure if he's going to play, he's got 6 sacks on the year. They have 43 sacks on the season. They can get after the quarterback, right? So if you're Baker Mayfield, get rid of the ball, find those escape lanes, scramble, but don't take the sacks, because the Falcons actually do have a pretty good pass rush, and there are 2 first-round draft picks. I don't know how what the ceiling is for those guys. Are they double-digit sack guys? Are they Pro Bowlers? I don't know, but they're not busts. They're good players.
Yeah, they're going to be tougher for the Bucs as their careers progress as well. Zach Jarvis, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says Rob Henney, aka Robert Hainsey, has become a really good center for the Jaguars. Wish we kept him and put Barton to guard. That would have been nice, but Robert Hainsey and Liam Cohen were always pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, Cohen and Grant Barton gave Hainsey a ton of credit for helping with the game plan and helping get Graham Barton along, knowing that he wasn't going to be starting. So good for Robert Hainsey.
Yeah, I'd love to see Graham Barton as a guard myself, but I've tried to die on that hill, and I'm dead. So I'm not going to fight that battle anymore.
Yeah, gonna have to take a little bit longer for some convincing.
Yep.
Chris GD2QP, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says just a $2 coffee for Matt. Well, thank you so much.
Go.
I may have a coffee after the show now. Actually got some coffee mugs on my desk. This is Cleaver. If any fans of The Sopranos know, this is when Christopher Moltisanti produces the movie Cleaver in the show The Sopranos. And I also have a Christmas mug of a Westie in Christmas year. Westie was my dog growing up, the breed of dog, and my parents have a Westie currently. So thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Yeah, there you go.
Tate Miller, thank you for the $4.99, says, what head coaching candidates do you think the Bucs may target if things fail to recover? Would have to think likely an offensive guy.
Yeah, you would think so. The Lasers have had really mixed results when going defense, right? They started with Tony Dungy. Like that was a hit, right? We can say that. Turned around the franchise.
Yeah. Developed
Hall of Fame caliber talent and helped find it and then develop it. And then turn the regime over to an offensive-minded head coach when Tony just couldn't get the offense right. 3 offensive coordinators year after year after year. Mike Shula, Les Steckel, and then Clyde Christensen. Then he gets fired. Gruden comes in, wins the Super Bowl, and then they go back to the defensive side with a Monty Kiffin disciple and Raheem Morris for a couple of years. That didn't work out because Raheem was too loosey-goosey. Then they went hard line, toes on the line. Greg Schiano from Rutgers, another defensive-minded guy, didn't work out. He flamed out his last season, 2013, 4 wins. And then they go back to the future and get Lovie Smith, who was the linebackers coach under Tony Dungy, to come back to Tampa. We're bringing the band back, and it's going to be like it was under the Dungy years. 3rd straight defensive-minded head coach. Lovie was the worst head coach I've ever covered. Only won 2 games in his first year. Half of the games Schiano won, the guy that he replaced. So he was fired after winning a total 8 games in 2 years. And then they, of course, brought in Dirk Cutter, who was the offensive coordinator under Lovie because of the continuity with Jameis. And then another offensive guy in Bruce Arians. Now they're back to defense with Bulls. So they've had more success with offensive-minded head coaches. They've hired more defensive-minded head coaches. It will be fascinating to see what transpires if Todd Bowles were not to coach next year.
Got to go young and offense. I think that's the way to go. Todd Bowles is actually top 5 oldest coach in the league.
Yep.
The Real Maverick, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, what is the reason Bowles can't adjust to the middle of the field wide open? I get lack of talent, but we see other great coaches adjust. Why not Bowles?
I don't know. I think it's I really I can't say. I want to, but I can't. I'll tell you in the off season what my premise is. I think what I can say, like a watered down version, is they don't do a great job communicating their zone pass offs as receivers cross from one zone to the next. Spacing isn't always great. The landmarks aren't always great. The reaction time necessary to effectively read the route, see the defender coming in your zone, and then driving and making a play on the ball. Servassier Dennis is not an elite athlete. He is a 5th-round pick. Levante David is 35 years old, and I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I just think they have a little bit too much trust in their guys, and they're not getting the job done. And then, this was a blow up, this was an error, this was a misfit is this new word.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Okay, well, if they're not getting the job done, find someone else or change the message a little bit. JTP 155, thank you for the $2 super chat, says, throw money at Kirby Smart. Go Dogs. Yeah, great coach. I don't think he's leaving though.
He's not leaving. He's like the governor of Georgia. I mean, he's not just the head coach. He's got a good gig going on, and you don't leave good gigs to try to do what Steve Spurrier and Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin. I mean, it just doesn't really work. They even tried Schiano from the college ranks. It just doesn't work. I mean, I'm trying to think. Pete Carroll's the only one who's had some success going from college to pro, right?
Yeah, I'd say him and Harbaugh probably.
Oh yeah.
The two main ones.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think too with college football, like it seems very tenuous, stressful, a lot of work with all the recruiting and the transfer portal and stuff like that. But then if you become successful and you just reach a level that Kirby Smart has gotten to where like players want to go and play for your school. So you still have to recruit.
That's right.
But it's like, I don't know, the recruiting seems a little bit easier than like half the other schools because of, and he's built it. It's not like it was just handed to him, but established that foundation of like great teams. And yeah, he's in a really good spot. I don't really see a point for him to leave.
Yep. A couple of comments here we wanted to get to. My boss left early. That means I can listen to the boys live. That's great. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steinbauer Sports. Looking sharp, man. Scott, we try. We shower on a daily basis and do our hair and things like that. Piss Missile Pete says, I think Mike walks off into the sunset like after this year. Ooh, that would be a gut punch to a lot of Bucs fans, man.
Yeah. So there's only one way I see that, but it actually would be a positive if the Bucs win the Super Bowl. I think if they win it all, which I mean, I don't see that happening right now, but if they were to win the Super Bowl, that's 2 titles for Mike. I could see him hanging it up then saying,
for sure.
Nothing else to give. I got a second title. That's all I wanted.
Yep. And then we have another one here. Let me grab it. That would be plausible. Oh, Mike getting 200 or the D holding the Falcons to 200 yards. What would be more plausible? I would say Mike.
I was gonna say Mike getting 200.
Mike getting 200. Yeah. That would be epic. Either one would be epic, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
And both would be spectacular. Ron Buck Fanatic McClary. Hi, Matt and Scott. I'm tuning in from Qatar by way of Tampa, Florida. Love your guys' great insight and content. That is cool. Thank you. And
thanks for the
Barry Moore. Greetings from Melbourne, Australia. Love the show. Thank you very much. We're getting some early participants in our next roll call. So that's fantastic. Just a quick reminder to everybody that we're not done. We have another show tomorrow, and we're going to get more into the Falcons stuff tomorrow. We took a lot of questions today and comments, and we're here for you guys, and we want to do that. But we didn't want to do the show before the show. So we do have tomorrow Pewter pregame live at 9 a.m. So check that out. We'll have the latest news about the latest injury situations. Is Tyke Smith going to play? We'll probably have some insight on that. Plus, there's a couple things we just couldn't get to today on the show that we'll have to discuss tomorrow. And, we just want to see how this team does. I'm not writing them off yet, but boy, they got to win. They got to win and get some momentum heading into Carolina for sure. Then, of course, tomorrow night, We're going to try to do this as quickly as possible. Probably right after Baker Mayfield, I'll run upstairs and we'll do the Bucs versus Falcons post-game podcast. And hopefully, for you guys' sake, it's a good night rather than a bad night. And then we'll have a Friday show, hopefully a Victory Friday. That would be fantastic. Look for that time. Probably we're thinking in the 1 to 2 o'clock hour. We'll find out what time Todd Bowles is going to speak on Friday and then adjust accordingly. So it won't be a 4 o'clock Friday show. It'll be earlier. So please prepare for that. But we will be back at 4 o'clock for Rondé Barber, our special guest, on Monday at 4 o'clock. And that's going to be a great show. We're looking forward to that. Just like we always look forward to the promos we do for Jorgensson Law, because these guys are Tampa Bay fans and Pewter Report fans. And if you need legal representation, folks, please help support our advertisers at Pewter Report and give them your business. Give them a call.
Welcome to Jorgensson Law, PA, where our family's legacy drives us to fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury, workers' compensation, and Social Security, we're committed to winning for you. No fees unless we succeed. Trust in our family to help yours. Let's achieve justice together.
No fees until they succeed. I love that. And you can get a free case evaluation. So it does not hurt you one bit. If you are hurt from a personal injury, give them a call. If you have issues with Social Security, give them a call. If you have issues with workers' comp, they are the champions of the injured and disabled with an office over there in St. Petersburg, Florida. Jorgensson Law, PA. It's a family-owned and operated business here in the Tampa Bay area. 727-347-7733. That's 727-347-7733. Visit them on the web at jorgenssonlawoffice.com.
Got a couple more super chats to go before we close out the show. We'll try to rapid fire some of these. Logic, thanks for the $4.99 super chat, says, Nick Rapone is so old he coached Bowles in college. How does he connect with these young secondary?
He needs to go. He and Kevin Ross need to go. If Todd Bowles sticks around, they need to go.
There you have it. Tate Miller, 9295. Thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says David Bailey, first round? Question mark.
I like David Bailey. I'm a big Texas Tech fan. I mean, I don't like him because they kick the crap out of my Wildcats, but I appreciate the hell out of them. Their defense is fun to watch. They're a legit top 4 team. They're really, really good. Good football team. And I would not mind David Bailey at all in red and pewter.
Yeah, I mean, their defense is dominant. Very curious how they're going to match up in the college football playoff. They obviously have a bye the first round, but I think likely would play Oregon in the second round. So that would be fun.
That would be fun.
And then Q's44, thank you for this $5 super chat. Says, my third year on PT, I think being PR, Pewter Report, Tuck's first preseason. Pewter Report's my favorite show. Merry Christmas, Matt and Scott. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Q44. Merry Christmas to you, too.
Appreciate you.
You've been an absolutely a delight getting to chat with you episode to episode and on the game day show. So thank you so much for all of your support, all of your positivity as well. Really enjoy it. So thank you so much.
That's great stuff. We've got a lot more content coming up here for you guys. So appreciate all the views and listens that you guys have been able to do for us all of this season and also this week too. It's been fun. We enjoy interacting with you guys. You guys are part of our family. Check out my new Bucs Brightside video. Matt, you got Pewter Picks and Props coming up as well?
Yes, that's getting recorded soon. It'll be out either tonight or early tomorrow morning. So Pewter Picks and Props. I got a lot of player props for this game. So
can't wait to watch it.
Action-packed, and then I'll have a separate show coming out later in the week for the Sunday NFL game. So this is all strictly Bucs Falcons. So
awesome. Can't wait
for that.
And we are about 40 subscribers away from 22,000. That's fantastic. So if you have not done so yet, please go over to Pewter Report TV, hit subscribe.
Yes, please like and subscribe to Pewter Report TV. Our YouTube channel is at Pewter Report. You can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. And like we just said, subscribe to Pewter Report TV. Leave a comment on this video how you're feeling about this Thursday night primetime game that does have Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan likely returning, and Tristan Wirfs as well. And Aviation wants to know, how can we watch Pewter Picks and Props? It's right on our YouTube channel, Pewter Report TV. It'll be right there. We got our own section for it. We usually bump it up to the top when it produces as well. As Saul Gutierrez says, Bucs bright shortest video in history.
It's pretty short. It's only a couple minutes of your time. So just he's giving
not too many positives. But Pewter Picks and Props will be out.
Give it a watch.
Other content, and we'll have the preview show tomorrow at 9 a.m. So until then, for Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you soon for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.